I think they will be blown away and truly understand the power of digital collectibles, because this is going to be going from, you know, looking at a phone to actually experience it, or watching a movie and being in a movie. And for us collectors, we will totally engage with the collectibles that we own and we love, for example, because we can see the animation, hear the sound, but also like for many folks, they're going to have their own man cave and arrange thousands of collectibles and relive their childhood without a constraint of space. And they can teleport or travel to, so they have their own Viva's home, right? They put on a headset. It's a totally different experience. It's a totally different world. Then you can travel to Hushow's, Robert's showroom, and see his, 7,000 NFTs. And you guys can talk about it. You guys can trade, so you can sell and buy and sell. And you don't have to even go to the post office. You do all of those activities from the comfort of your physical real home. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the VeVe Vantage podcast. So the Apple mixed reality headset is coming out this Monday, June 5th. And it is very exciting news because it will change the game in so many levels. And in my personal opinion, I think it will benefit VeVe in so many ways in terms of bringing that new experience and ultimately mass adoption. There are so many exciting rumors and questions around it. So in this episode, we'll go through all of them and explain to you how this headset will benefit VeVe, not now in 2023, but this will be a very good foundation / introduction for what to come in a few years. Let's get to it. So next Monday, which is June 5th, the Apple headset is rumored to be introduced. And I'm super excited about it because I've always been a fan of AR and VR headsets. I don't have one personally, but that experience is so cool. And the reason why I wanted to bring up this topic is because this is going to be, I think, well, it is still a rumor, but I think this is going to be a game changer for Apple, for like the whole industry, and especially for VeVe. Have you heard about that rumor of the headset?
No, I have not kept up with anything related to that. And to be honest, I don't have any Apple products other than a pretty old MacBook. But
Okay. I will try my best to convert you to become an Apple fanboy because I love Apple products, but we will get to that in a minute. So next Monday, which is June 5th, there is a rumor, and it's a rumor, but it's extremely close to being true because every single sources, leaks, and everything have kind of confirmed it, that Apple will come out with a mixed reality headset. So this will be the first brand new Apple product since the Apple Watch in 2015. So brand new. When we talk about brand new in this episode, it's like a brand new product, not like a newer version or an upgrade like the iPhone 10 to iPhone 12, for example. And this Apple headset, there might be some similarities with the Apple Watch in the sense that they might introduce it next Monday, but they're not going to start selling it right away. Because what happened with the Apple Watch was that they introduced the device in 2014, but then they didn't start announcing the price and start selling until 2015. So for the Apple Watch, there was an 8-month gap between introduction and shipping and get the actual devices to the consumers. And I think that is because they're trying to maybe measure the interests of people. And at the same time, this is going to be a brand new product for Apple. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to work with developers, give them like a period of time to start building apps and games and experience for this headset. So when it gets to the regular consumers like us, we'll have something to do with it. And at the same time, like the first product will always be kind of expensive and only for first adopters. So long story short, they might be introducing it, but this is not gonna be like a product that is used by everybody, like the iPhone or the Apple Watch. This will be more of like an introduction of what to comes in the future because this will be very expensive. It is rumored to be around $3,000, so very expensive. Yeah, but it's gonna be very very powerful, and mostly again geared towards developers and engineers and just people who want to try out this product, right? And some will see it as a collectible as well because people always try to collect the first of everything, right? I think there was an article somewhere about the first ever iPhone that came out in 2007, and somebody sold an unopened box of the first ever iPhone that came out in 2007 for let me look it up real quick. Um, that sold for $32,000.
No way.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So yeah, so the FA of the iPhone came out in 2007, unopened box, seal, that sold for $32,000. So
Dang.
yeah.
um, some initial thoughts in regards to this headset.
Mhm.
AR, is it AR and VR?
Yeah, so let me clarify on that. This will be a mixed reality device, which is a combination of AR and VR. So AR is that experience that we have with VeVe, like when you take a photo of your kid next to your Mickey Mouse. That's AR, right? The VR is basically you immersing yourself within, like in this virtual space, virtual world. And this device can do both. So what's really cool about it is like, so this is my glasses, right? Usually the Oculus devices from Facebook, you cannot see through it. So this whole section is blocked. So it's only a VR device where you can only see the screen inside the glasses. But for this Apple device, you can see the screen inside the glasses, but it's also you can see through it as well,
Oh, that's
which
neat.
is gonna be yeah, which is gonna be pretty cool. So if you want, you can immerse yourself in VR, watch a movie, play video games, or you can switch it to AR and see your Spider-Man or your Mickey Mouse in your living room. So you're gonna see both experiences. Yeah, but to answer your question, it's gonna be a combination of both.
All right.
Mhm.
So I can't say that I've used anything like that before,
Yeah.
especially considering that it's brand new, right? Or pretty new. But I've been to some gaming facilities. Like, so, have you ever heard of Dave and Buster's?
Yeah.
It's like the adult version of Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I've gone to those before, and I've tried some games where you have to put on like a headset, and then,
Hmm.
like you were mentioning, it was a VR headset where
Right.
where I was in a different I was like in the game, right? And just like I could see around and do whatever the game wanted me to do or what I was supposed to do, right? And I could only tolerate that for a couple of minutes at a time because it
Right.
gets to be pretty disorienting to, especially like if you have the sound effects and everything all around you, you have that I guess you could call it a screen
Hmm.
right next to your eyes. So like my only concern is the only concern that I could come up with right now at the moment is what are the long-term effects of having something like that close to your eyes all the time or like for an extended period of time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we have our phones pretty close to our faces, but like imagine bringing it like that much closer. uh i I know that those companies or like Apple have probably done their due diligence and figured out how to make sure that it's safe, and they may have done some long-term studies, but that So like one, how long can people tolerate having those on their heads?
Hmm.
And then two, what are the long-term effects if, you know, like I don't know, for your eyes, like are people going to end up needing glasses
Hmm.
afterwards, like after a couple of years when they
Right.
might not have otherwise?
So your first point is the exact reason why these headsets have not become a household name yet. And that's exactly why people haven't adopted yet. Because A, they're kind of heavy, right? And some of them, like the high performers, they are usually wired. So you need to connect it to your laptop or whatever. So they're heavy, they do heat up, so it gets pretty uncomfortable and you get kind of dizzy after wearing them for a while. And they are pretty expensive too. And also, like, you would only put them on when you want to try something new. And after you try it, you feel kind of tired and dizzy, then you don't want to use them again, right? So that was my experience as well when I tried them on. So I went to this gaming facility in Germany a few years back, and they had this whole room dedicated to the VR headset. So like I put them on, I play games, and that was cool. But I got really tired. So I think what Apple would do to mitigate the issue of weight is that they will be making this headset using carbon fiber. So super light, glass, and aluminum. So three pretty light materials. So that will make the headset allegedly about 30% lighter than the Oculus headset. So it's going to be a lot lighter than the headsets that you and I have used in the past. So that will be one way to address the issue with weight. Is that they will be using very light materials, and at the same time, technology have progressed in a way that the chips are getting smaller, the things within the headset. So the headset is basically a computer, right? A lot of them have gotten smaller and lighter, so they can pack more performance without packing that extra weight, or even like they can now reduce the weight as well. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see whether people will be comfortable wearing this headset, and people will be comfortable using it for an extended period of time. Hey guys, just a quick message. Every week I, Mr. V, work over 20 hours to bring you the most non-BS VV content. English is my second language, and there were nights we recorded until 1 a.m. My brain stopped processing and I naturally spoke Vietnamese to him, and it got pretty weird. But that's just how dedicated we are to this podcast. In return, we ask you to enter a gentleman agreement. We will continue working until 1 a.m. for you, but we ask you to subscribe to the podcast, leave us a rating, and tweet at us to tell us what you think, because those comments will ultimately help us to refine the content just for you. That's it. That's all you need to do. Let's get back to it. Yeah, and there's something else I want to mention, which is again, like, this is going to be an introduction to a much better line of products in 2024, 5, 6, and 2027, right? Because when the first iPhone came out, it definitely didn't have as many features as it does today. Like my iPhone today can do a whole lot more than the iPhone that came out in 2007. I can drop it and the screen won't break as easily as the first ever version of the iPhone did, right? So it's going to take a few years, but this is going to be that introduction to what will come in the future. Also, do you wear glasses?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, so I do, right? So I have my glasses here. One huge reason why I hate using these existing VR headsets is because I wear glasses. So when I want to use them, I cannot see anything without wearing glasses. So I have to put my glasses on, and I have to put the headset on. So there's extra weight from my glasses. There's extra discomfort because I'm wearing basically two headsets at this point. So that's why I don't use it. But it is rumor that Apple will be coming out with custom prescription lenses. So for example, somebody like me, I can tell them, hey, I need this kind of lens. Then Apple will ship it to me. Then I'll put it on the headset. Now I can experience the Apple headset without wearing my glasses, which is something that is kind of like maybe a niche problem to many people, but a huge problem for me.
That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing like how that works and plays out.
Yeah. And also, I want to mention something else, which is um, the resolution will be maybe around 4K to 8K, which will make it look amazing because nowadays when I watch videos on YouTube, I don't even watch 4K. I mostly stop at like 1080p, and that looks pretty good already. So, um, experiencing this in 4K or even 8K would be really, really cool. And the reason why they're able to do it is because Apple have come up with these new chips that they have used in their like MacBook Pros and stuff, that they will apply to this device. So this is going to be a very, very powerful device. And let me see, what are the other things?
Oh wait, before you
Hmm?
move on,
Yeah,
the chips that you're referring to, are these and you said that they're making their own?
yeah. Apple started making their own chips, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. So in the past they used Intel.
Hmm.
Um, so the MacBook Pro that I have, this is a 2019. This is still the Intel chip, but then the versions that they came out um, that came out from like maybe 2020 or 2021, those new devices, relatively new devices, they started putting their own Apple chip um, into them. So, and the Apple chips are really, really good.
Now, are they being built in-house? Because Apple's a US company, right?
Hmm.
So are they building them here or are they getting the materials, supplies from somewhere else?
I actually don't know. All I know is that within the chip industry, there's this huge company in Taiwan
Hmm.
that make the chips for many other companies. Not just so maybe Apple get the chips made there, or maybe in the US. I actually don't know, but yeah, it is rumored to have two of these. They call it Apple M2 chips, so very high performance.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, I don't have $3,000 to throw around,
yeah,
but I'm hoping that I could at least try it out. Maybe at the next like Comic Con or whatever, maybe Vivi has them available for people to try on. Fingers crossed. But
yeah. Actually, what so that let me transition to the reason why I'm excited for this device because it has something to do with VeVe. So again, the $3,000 price tag, like every single new product, will be expensive, will be bulky, will be heavy, but over time they will get cheaper. I think another rumor is that they will come out with a cheaper version in 2024, and it's going to be around 1,500. So a little bit more expensive than a regular iPhone, but half the price compared to the first version. And so before I get to Vivi, I want to mention something that I think this will be very interesting to see how Apple can succeed with this product because there are so many VR headsets available on the market already, but none of them have really made it. Like you are not using it, I'm not using it. I don't know many people who are using these VR headsets, and cost may be one thing, that experience of using the product is another thing because a lot of these VR headsets from um, HTC or Meta, Oculus Meta, they were advertised to do things such as video calls, fitness, playing video games. But nowadays, we still see people playing video games on their PS5, on their computer, and not on these headsets, right? At least the majority of us. We don't see many people working out using these headsets. And we certainly don't see that many people watching movies or actually take advantage of the use cases that these devices are intended for, are built for. So Apple will have to do something to overcome those challenges, right? So like making the device lighter, more comfortable to use, but also they have to invent new use cases or improve existing use cases, maybe through the marketing or anything like that, to actually get this device adopted. Because if we look at history, Apple have been able to, to get the adoption, even though they were late to introduce some products. For example, there were other MP3 players before the iPod came out, right? But then Apple came out with the iPod. Steve Jobs said that, hey, you can store 1,000 songs in your pocket. That, and the same thing to like their was it what is that wireless headphone called? AirPod. Yeah, the AirPod. There were other Bluetooth earbuds before the Apple AirPods, but now the Apple AirPods is widely used by many people. So, if we were to look at history, we can kind of say that they should be able to do it, but it's just going to be a question. But again, going back to VeVe, why I'm excited. I think this will be a game changer, not now, but in a few years. The reason why it's not now is because it's going to be expensive. It's going to be, it's not going to be adopted by many people. At the same time,
Oh,
Apple, yeah, go on.
Let me pause you there for a second.
Hmm?
Who's to say that Apple won't make those financing options available, right? Because they do that already. They make it available already. And I completely overlooked that too, just
Yeah.
up until now, because kind of like if you don't pay for your phone outright right away, you could finance it over like 24 months or 12 months or whatever. So
Yeah.
with the same thing could be said with those with that headset. So maybe it's going to be a lot more affordable. But at the same time, if they
Yeah.
release new ones later on, I do know because my wife has an iPhone, right? And after halfway through the plan, she's done with her plan. Um, a new iPhone comes out, and then she upgrades it halfway through,
Yeah.
right? And so it's convenient because she gets a new phone and she just continues to make those payments. Whereas for me, like I have an Android, and I have to pay for the phone entirely before I
Yeah.
can upgrade it.
Yeah.
So I could see how Apple could lean into that a little bit more with the financing options, and then like as they release the newer versions, I could see them keeping the price way up there at 3K, especially if they see that if there's not much pushback from the public, because like the with like all these newer phones that Apple's been releasing, what's the trend been in terms of price?
They're getting a little bit more expensive every new edition, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And with the financing options, it's like a couple dollars extra per month, right?
Right.
So I don't know if they would, because like it's not going to help their bottom line, right? So I kind of I believe like based on that kind of trend that I've noticed with Apple, I don't think that the prices would drop all that much. I think in fact it as people finance it and get really comfortable with financing these things, that they could start inchworming up the price.
Yeah. So I think you have a really good point in terms of that financing option. And I think people would definitely trying to get it at the lower price range of like, maybe 2,000 or 1,800 even. But yeah, definitely not the 3,000. At the same time, they have to, market it or create use cases to justify people spending the money. Because like when I spend, for example, like when you or your wife or when we all spend like $1,500 for a new iPhone or new Android device, we use this device a few hours every day. Like we need it, right? So it, we can justify buying it. For example, the MacBook that I'm using, I think it costs around over 2,000, and I absolutely love it because I use it for about 10 hours a day. But for the Apple headset, right now, based on a rumor, it like maybe the first iteration, what the first edition, it does pretty much everything that you are already doing on your existing device. So maybe they'll have to, creatively come up with something to get people to start trying it out. Yeah, but I think that people will definitely want to experience it. And yeah, with that financing option, and especially Apple already have many apps that can integrate really well with the headset, so people will start using it. For example, there's that Apple TV, so there's a lot of movie content. There's Apple Arcade. Have you ever heard of it?
No, but based on the name arcade,
Yeah,
I'm guessing that it's just like a variety of gaming options.
right. Yeah, so you pay $5 a month and you can play any game within that Apple Arcade ecosystem. So they can integrate video games into the headset as well.
That's mind blowing. Because when I was a kid,
Hmm.
you know the company Sega, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So there was this cable company called Jones Communications, and I think Comcast bought them out for people who live on the East Coast. I don't know if it's Comcast is available throughout the US, but in either case, Jones Communications partnered up with Sega in the early 90s, and there would be this cartridge that you would put into the Sega Genesis gaming
Hmm.
console, and you would connect the the television cable directly to the cartridge, and
Mm.
you could stream games from the cable company to the uh, gaming console. And for 20, like $10 or $20 a month, you could play like 50 or 100 different games
Mm.
uh, on at that time. And they were so far ahead of their time that, and the demand was not there, that they backtracked, and they canceled it. They stopped doing that altogether. And then the cable company went under or got bought out by Comcast, I believe. And then years go by until what was it? And I'm not up to speed with like gaming consoles or anything like that, but what was it? Maybe the PlayStation 3 is when, or like the Xbox One. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it wasn't until like the mid 2000s, like 2005 to 10, somewhere around there, where streaming games became a thing. So like
Yeah.
I could see like how I mean I'm just really impressed with how things have progressed from when I was a kid, like early 90s. A company failed miserably with this idea, and then you have the streaming on the gaming consoles, and now we have that available on the phones, and now I take it that the direction that you're going with this is that the headsets could stream games. Is
Yeah.
that right? So you could
Yep.
connect your phone to the headset?
Yeah. So, well, connecting, I think the headset will be like its own computer itself. So you don't have to connect your phone to the headset. Like you don't have to put your phone into the headset or
Mhm.
anything like that. The headset is its own computer.
So you could manipulate something by putting your hands out in front of the headset.
Yeah. That is another rumor with this particular device because like for the Oculus from Facebook, you have these two controllers, right? But then for this Apple headset, it is rumored that there won't be any controller. So basically, like if you would put it on and you are looking at your VeVe showroom, right? You can just use your finger motions to resize the collectible in your showroom, and you can change the position and locations just with your hands. So you don't need that controller.
So kind of like Tony Stark. from
Yes.
Iron
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. That. Yeah. Which is gonna be really cool. So again, I don't think it's gonna be a game changer for Vivi right away. But if you think about it, like the VeVeVerse, when they demo it in the Decon last year, they demo it using one of these VR headsets. So did you actually see that demo?
I did. I saw
Yeah.
the live stream. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, live stream. Like when people saw the VeVeVerse the first time, they saw they had the experience with a VR headset. So I wasn't at the event, but I saw the live stream, and the team were handing out VR headsets so that people can put them on and look at the VeVeVerse. So they have that VR AR experience in mind. It would just take them a few years to integrate metaverse with these headsets. And at the same time, I think nowadays when you tell your friends or your wife or your kids about Vivi, you are showing them these 3D models of photos on your phone, right? Which is kind of lame and pretty boring in a way, because to them, to you, it's like your assets, very, very valuable assets. But to the majority of other people who look at it, they're just photos on your phone, right? But
true.
then with these headsets, imagine that they put it on, they see the animations, they hear the sounds, they get immersed in the whole showroom experience. They see, DeLoreans flying around, they see all the T-Rex, all the T-Rexes, and then these newer drops, the animations look really cool, like the dragon that you just complete, the dragon set that you just completed. I think they will be blown away and truly understand the power of digital collectibles, because this is going to be going from looking at a phone to actually experience it, or watching a movie and being in a movie. Yeah. And for us collectors, we will totally engage with the collectibles that we own and we love, for example, because we can see the animation, hear the sound. But also, like, for many folks, they're going to have their own man cave and arrange thousands of collectibles and relive their childhood without a constraint of space. And they can teleport or travel to, so they have their own Viva's home, right? They put on a headset, it's a totally different experience. It's a totally different world. Then you can travel to Hush Shows, Robert's showroom, and see his 7,000 NFTs, and you guys can talk about it. You guys can trade, so you can sell and buy and sell, and you don't have to even go to the post office. You do all of those activities from the comfort of your physical real home. Because nowadays, if you have a set of collectible, like physical collectibles, you want to see Robert's collection, you have to go to his house. If you want to sell him something, you have to package it. Hopefully it doesn't break. Bring it to the post office. Hopefully it doesn't get lost somewhere. Wait about a week. If it's an expensive item, and if you don't know him, you hope that he will actually receive it and pay you. But then but after that, there's nothing. But then with these headsets and with the integration of Vivi into them, you can do all of that, and that experience will be much more elevated at the comfort of your living room, for example.
Yeah, to consolidate everything into one nice, neat package is a game changer.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I'm very excited about it, because when people can start living in these virtual reality spaces and start engaging with their collectibles, I think that's when the adoption will happen, just because it is just a totally new way to look at something that is currently pretty boring. That is it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed the episode today. And if you have, remember that gentleman agreement. We will continue working until 1 a.m. just for you. But in return, we ask you to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on the actionable and valuable insights, everything VeVe and Omi related. Don't forget to give us a rating and tweet at us. So let us know what you think about the podcast so that we can refine the content better just for you. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again next time. Peace.